Hey guys, today I'm going to show you an exercise called standing hang. Now, standing hang at first glance might look like a hamstring flexibility exercise, which it can definitely help with that. But I want you to think about the standing hang the way that I'm going to show it to you today as a way to promote the range of motion of the pelvis going forward over the femur bone. Okay, I want you to think of that range of motion of the pelvis, which if we can promote this proper range of motion, we can really help to develop better hamstring flexibility by addressing some of the more fundamental root movements that lead to better hamstring flexibility. And also by doing this standing hang exercise, we're also going to help to develop a better, straighter spinal position. So have you ever noticed maybe when you're doing laundry or washing dishes that your upper back starts to burn or ache, or maybe you start to develop some lower back aches and pains from bending over? A lot of this comes from not moving properly and bending more from the spine versus from the pelvis. So what we're going to do today with the standing hang is we're going to help to promote better range of motion of the pelvis as it moves over the femur bone. I don't know if you guys can kind of visualize that or picture that. And a result of doing this exercise, we're going to help to promote better hamstring flexibility and better ability to go through your day-to-day movements and tasks with more comfort and more ease. So the setup for the exercise is key. Now, I'm actually on this slanted beach here because this has this wonderful panoramic view in the background. But for you, when you're doing this, and when I do this myself, we want to make sure that we're standing on a nice level surface. Okay? So we're standing on a nice level surface. We're going to start off by lining our feet up so that our toes are pointed straight ahead. Okay, so what that means is that when you look down, the outer edges of your feet should be straight, so you should actually look a little bit pigeon-toed to yourself. So that's step number one, and you also want to make sure that your ankle joints are 1.5 fist widths apart. So I want you to actually take a moment to measure that. Okay, so you should be 1.5 fist width distance apart between your ankle joints, and then you should be 1 fist width distance apart between the balls of your feet. What this does is this lines your feet up so that they are pointed straight ahead, and this also aligns your ankle joint directly beneath your hip joint, which is going to be really important for us to get the full benefit of this exercise. So now that we're in the correct position, what we're going to do is we're just going to simply move into a standing hang. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to tighten our thigh muscles, and we're going to shift our bodies forward so that our weight comes into the balls of our feet. And then finally, we're going to relax through the back side of the neck. And we're just going to hold this standing hang position for 1 minute. Okay? After the minute is up, you're going to slowly come up, and the exercise is done. Now, let's break down a few of those cues that I just gave you to make sure that we're understanding these things properly and that we're really getting the full benefit of the exercise. So I did mention that when you're in that standing hang position that you want to be tightening your thigh muscles. Now, the reason why this is so important that we tighten the thighs is because by tightening the thighs, we can promote better range of motion of the pelvis, and we can help to promote almost a lengthening or a relaxation effect of the hamstrings and the back part of the thigh. So we want to make sure when we're in that standing hang that we're tightening the thigh muscles, also known as the quadriceps here in the upper leg. And I've found that a lot of us, when we think that we're tightening our thighs, we actually are not. So it's kind of funny to think about that. But one thing that you can do, and what I might recommend that you do if you're finding that your thigh muscles aren't quite tight as you're doing that exercise, is I want you to try some standing quadricep contractions. So just stand and contract and release your quads. And see if you can find those quad muscles. So just simply contract and release. Think about pulling your kneecaps up towards your hips as a way to promote that quadriceps contraction. And see if you can get used to that quad contraction and find those quads. Now when you get into that standing hang, now that we've practiced that quad contraction, we can hopefully find those quads and contract those quads a little bit better. Now, as we're in that standing hang, I did mention shifting forward into the balls of your feet. So when you're here in this position, the tendency for most of us is going to be to actually shift back. Is going to be for that pelvis to shift back behind the ankle, and we're going to be kind of more here in this position. So we don't want that. What you want to do is you actually want to shift forward until that hip joint, which is kind of right there, comes directly on top of the ankle joint. And what you should be feeling as you're doing this is that your weight is more shifted forward into the balls of your feet. So you might find that you feel like you're going to fall forward, and I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to actually show you what you can do to prevent that. So here I just have this block. At home you can use a shoebox, just anything to give yourself a target to put your hands on, and you would just simply come forward and shift forward and use that object to make sure that you are staying in that forward position with the hip directly on top of the ankle. And this can also be very beneficial to have your hands on an object if you don't quite have that flexibility. If this is very difficult for you, feel free to make your object as high as you need it so that you can get used to the position and eventually gradually, incrementally move down further and further. But make sure that you're thinking of this, again, not just like a passive stretch for the hamstrings, but that you're really thinking about the engagement of the quads as you do this, and that is the key to help you to develop the range of motion of the pelvis as it tips forward, which is going to help us in all of these other areas, having greater ease of movement in our day-to-day life, better ability to bend forward without discomfort in the lower back or the upper back. I hope that this has been beneficial. Standing hang is such a simple exercise, but it's been a part of my daily routine for quite a while, and I just really enjoy it. I just think that it has a lot of benefit if you can do it in this particular way that I'm showing you here. So I hope this video was helpful. Please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.